I am Dr. S Mukhari, and I'm the lecturer for PDL4802, Information and Communication Technologies in Language Education in the Department of Language Education, Arts and Culture. My presentation this morning will focus on assessment completion. All the PDL modules are no longer exam-based, but they are characterized by continuous assessment. This simply means that no examination will be written at the end of the academic year. With continuous assessment, there is an ongoing periodic and systematic assessment and evaluation of students during the process of learning using a variety of assessment methods throughout the tuition period. It is an alternative to a single final summative assignment, as only these cumulative assessments contribute to the final mark. In our PDL modules, there are 4 compulsory assessments. Assessment 1 is a quiz, and it accounts for 25% of your year mark. The quiz assessment was designed to orientate you to the module and force you to read the whole guide. Your assignment or assessment 2, 3, and 4 will comprise a combination of paragraph and essay type questions. Assessment 5, you will have to do this assessment in case you have missed assessments 2 to 4. Please note that assessment 5 cannot substitute the quiz assessment, which is compulsory. Please just ensure that you do not miss 2 assessments, as this will disadvantage you in the final grading, as the basis used will be the quiz and the 3 written assessments. I am reminding you once more that all your assessments contribute to your year mark. Please make sure that you submit your assessments on time. The actual assessments and their due dates are available on the MyUnisa site for the particular PDL module. Please adhere to the stipulated due date and the closing time for the assessment portal. We advise you to submit your assessment before the due date to avoid technical challenges. Please take note that lecturers cannot manipulate the system to change dates in order to accommodate late submission of assessments. As you already know that we follow the continuous assessment to determine whether you pass or fail the module. Please be responsible, adhere to the stipulated due date. To avoid disappointment, please submit your assessment on time. I would also like to emphasize that all your assessments must be submitted online. This means that you will do all your activities and submit on your assessments via MyUnisa. Please take note that no assessment must be posted to UNISA using South African Post Office. No assessment must be emailed to the lecturers. Another important factor is about the completion of the honesty declaration. As an international university with a vision towards the African university shaping futures in the service of humanity, UNISA aims to uphold ethical conduct in all academic activities. We have developed an honesty declaration form in which you must declare that you wrote your own assignments, you have not plagiarized, and you have referenced the information that you sourced from different books or articles. It is important for you to complete the declaration form and submit it with your assessment. With regard to your written assessments, please do not copy the study guide, but apply the knowledge you have learned. Use practical examples and please take the context into consideration. Students who plagiarize will be penalized. So avoid that and use your own words to indicate your understanding of the module content. I believe you are familiar with the concept of plagiarism. Just to remind you, plagiarism is the act of taking the words, ideas, and thoughts of others and presenting them as your own. In simple terms, it is a form of theft which involves several dishonest academic activities, such as cutting and pasting from any source without acknowledging the source. Dr. Ngidi will focus on referencing. Another thing, not including or using incorrect references, paraphrasing without acknowledging the original source of the information. When we continue with academic integrity, we also touch on cheating, which comprises academic integrity, and it includes completing assessments on behalf of another student, copying from another student during an assessment or allowing a student to copy from you, using social media to disseminate assessment information, submitting corrupt or irrelevant files, buying completed answers from tutors or internet sites, that is contract cheating. It is unacceptable for students to submit identical assessments on the pretext of having worked together or being husband and wife. Such assessments will not be marked. Furthermore, you may be penalized or be subjected to disciplinary proceedings by the university. Now I will hand over to Dr. Berger to continue with the presentation. Over to you, Dr. Berger.
Good day, students. I'm Dr. Berger. I teach PDL4805, and I will talk to you about Bloom's taxonomy. There are many educational taxonomies, and they are classifications of information. So there are three taxonomies: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. However, the cognitive domain has received the most attention. The best known are Bloom's, Krathel, and Solo. And Solo stands for Structure of Observed Learning Outcomes, which explains taxonomies in a nice way, actually, because it is about the outcomes that you need to achieve. Using Bloom's means the objectives are clear, and they are recognizable action verbs that indicate the cognitive level. This is an illustration of the Bloom's taxonomy. And as you can see, it looks like a pyramid. However, it does not mean that remember, which is on the first level, the basis of knowledge, is more important than the others. It simply means that you will not be able to use the higher levels, which are analyze, evaluate, and create, if you do not have adequate knowledge and understanding of what you are learning. Let's have a look at some of the levels. Remember, as you can see, is to recall facts and basic concepts. To understand is to explain ideas, to classify or describe. Apply is self-explanatory. You can apply your knowledge, execute, solve, or use your knowledge. Analysis is the next one, where you can differentiate, organize, relate, and draw connections among ideas. And to evaluate is to take a stand or a decision, to argue, defend, or judge a concept. And create is when you are producing new or original work. So you are using all the levels of cognition in that case. Some of the action verbs, and they are organized according to each level. So let's look at remember. As we said, this is to recall or rewrite information. And there you could be asked to choose, define, or find something. The next one is understand, is to show you know enough to explain your knowledge. And there are the verbs there where you're asked to classify, compare, explain, and extend. The next one is apply. And as we said, that is you can apply your knowledge. and sometimes in new ways, as you can be asked to build something new, choose, construct, develop, experiment. Analyze is to see links, comparisons, and examine a concept where you can categorize something, classify, compare, draw a conclusion. Evaluate is a critical understanding of what you are learning and your knowledge. You can be asked to agree and explain why you agree, assess something, decide on something, whether it is applicable or not. And then the last one is to create, and this is to use knowledge in new ways, where you are adapting something, creating something new, constructing. What I want to point out to you is that sometimes when you look at a question, it's not always just the action verb that you look for. For example, if you look at explain, explain can be under the classification of understand. We can ask you to explain to us what the CAPS document says about home language and first language. But you can also be asked to evaluate something and say, explain why you've chosen a certain research paradigm for your study. And so read the whole question before you make sure that you then understand what level of classification the question is on. Let's look at a few more examples. A question at the first level of knowledge could be name the types of research, or what does CAPS say about language learning? Understand, explain what language learning and teaching is, or outline the assessment plan according to what the assessment plan is according to CAPS. For an application, you can be asked to develop a research plan or identify risks in working with participants. Further question examples here, and to analyze, choose the correct sequence of the research process. There you have to then analyze, perhaps you are given an example and you have to analyze the research process within it. Evaluate, you may be given a topic or a title, and we asked, why is the above title regarded as poorly formulated title? You have to evaluate the title then, and then you are asked to create, where you formulate your own topic, or you are going to develop or design your own a conceptual framework for your study. Next, now I'm going to hand over to Dr. Nkumane.
Good morning, PDL students. I am Dr. Nkumane, responsible for PDL4801, which is Assessment of Language in Education. I am going to look at question analysis. How do you understand a question? The point of departure here is, when as a student you get an essay question, how do you make sure you are answering it the way you are supposed to? Most of the time, students lose a lot of marks because the questions are not answered correctly. When you have a writing task, you are expected to answer the set question. The most common complaint from lecturers is that students don't answer the question or only answer part of it. There are few marks for essays that don't answer the set question, even if that essay is well written. It is important that you interpret the question accurately and clearly. Answers must be according to the requirements of the question. Let us look at the term analysis. What does analysis mean? Analysis means that one is doing a detailed examination of anything complex in order to understand its nature or to determine its essential features. You need to use question analysis for assignments, for exam essays, and short answer questions. What then is question analysis? Question analysis requires you to break the essay topic down into its fundamental parts. This also means that you must do a thorough deconstruction of the essay subject or the essay topic. In other words, you decode the question. There are 5 steps that we're going to look at in order to understand question analysis. The steps for question analysis would assist you to a better understanding of the said question and to answering it in an appropriate manner. The following 5 steps will assist you to analyze any other question that you can get in an assignment or an exam. The first step is read the whole question twice. Do not read the question once. The second step, look for topic words. Topic words tell you what you have to write about. Step number 3, look for any words that may restrict the topic in any way. What does this mean? Restricting words are words or phrases that narrow the topic and make it more specific. For example, this is the part of the broad topic that the lecturer wants you to investigate. You will only be given marks on the subject matter that is restricted to the aspect of the topic that is contained in the question. Step number 4, look for instruction words. Dr. Becker has explained the Bloom's taxonomy, which contain instruction words that are contained in a question. Instruction words consist of verbs that tell you what you have to write about. You must understand exactly what the instruction words mean in order to interpret the question accurately. Words such as what, how, and why can also be used. And you will remember that Dr. Becker has given you a lot of examples for the action words. And you will have to interpret the specific meaning behind the question and understand what each instruction word or action word requires from you. 2 or more instruction words in a question means that you will have to answer each part of the question. Some of the questions contain only 1 instruction word, but some of the questions contain 2 instruction words. So when you get an assignment, a question that contains 2 instruction words, you will have to make sure that you answer each part of the question. In essay questions, you will find 1 or more instruction words that tell you what to do, what your essay should do. Let us look at the following questions. Let us look at an example with 1 instruction word. The question is, differentiate between assessment for learning and assessment of learning. The instruction word is differentiate, and the topic words are assessment for learning and assessment of learning. Remember that in step number 4, we emphasize that instruction words are verbs which tell you what to do. The instruction word in the above question is differentiate. It tells you to bring out the differences between assessment for learning and assessment of learning. The verb differentiate tells you what to do. The key words are assessment for learning and assessment of learning. It is important to understand the instruction words as they were explained in the Bloom's taxonomy by Dr. Becker. Examples of a question with more than 1 instruction words. 2 instruction words again in a question requires you to answer each part of the question. The 2 instruction verbs tell you what your essay should do. Example of a question: discuss and evaluate the benefits of assessment for learning and assessment of learning. Discuss is to talk or to write about the topic in detail. And evaluate requires you to present facts and defend by making judgments about the benefits. That is the key word now. That is the outstanding word. About the benefits. And then also the keywords, benefits of what? Of assessment for learning and assessment of learning. Keywords are benefits, assessment for learning, and assessment of learning. Take note of restricting words or phrases that narrow the topic and make it more specific. The above question requires your discussion to be centered on the benefits of assessment for learning and assessment of learning. Step number 5, which is the last step. Try to rewrite the question in your own words. Try to rewrite the question in your own words. When you do this, it is a good way of making sure that you have understood the question. But also be careful that you must stay close to the original question. Then you need to match the version, your version that you've written in your own words, match it with the original version. If you have any doubts about your interpretation, check it with the original version. What is it that we discovered in this presentation? The points that were discovered were the following. An analysis of the question means that one does a detailed examination of anything complex in order to understand its nature or to determine its essential features. The 5 steps were covered. Step number 1, read the whole question twice. Step number 2, look for topic words. These are key words that tell you what you need to write about. Restricting words. These are the words and phrases that narrow the topic to be more specific. Step number 4, these are instruction words. These are verbs. These are action verbs that tell you what to do. Step number 5 was rewriting the question in your own words. The warning was that you need to be careful to stay close to the original question. Now I will hand over to Dr. Kani.
Good day, students. I am Dr. Ed Kani, and I am the primary lecturer for PDL4803. Today, I will be talking to you about the topic of academic writing. To begin my presentation, I would like you to take a few minutes to consider the following question. Why is it that we write? And if you think about your daily life, you will realize that we write for a variety of reasons, be it personal, academic, in the working environment, and so forth. While there may be many reasons for why we write, you will find that you usually write because you have something that you want to say. So we have some ideas, we have some thoughts, we have some expressions that we'd like to share with other people, and so we decide to put pen to paper. The focus of my presentation will be academic writing. What is academic writing? Academic writing is scholarly in nature. It makes use of a formal tone. It is presented clearly and concisely. It is focused to the topic under discussion, and it is supported by evidence which are accurately referenced. As a university student, you would find that you would often need to engage in academic writing. And you may ask yourself, where do I begin? One way of structuring your academic writing is to make use of paragraphs. What is a paragraph? A paragraph is an organized group of sentences related to one topic or idea. It indicates sections and subdivisions of a piece of writing. So the main thing to remember is in each paragraph, you will focus on one topic or one idea. I now move on to the topic of topic and detail sentences. A topic sentence is the main idea of a paragraph and is usually found as the first sentence in your paragraph. The topic sentence will guide you as the writer on what to focus on in each paragraph and prepare the reader on what to expect in each paragraph. Remember, each topic sentence must be supported. The way in which you support your topic sentence is to provide detailed sentences. The purpose of detailed sentences is to support your topic sentences by explaining more about the topic or idea and providing examples. Let us consider a practical example. If you look at the text which is shown on the screen, This is an example of a paragraph. Now I will go further in and demonstrate to you how this paragraph is divided into a topic sentence supported by detailed sentences. So we begin by reading the first sentence in this paragraph, which reads as follows. At home language level, proficiency refers to two aspects. We now realize that the main idea of this paragraph is proficiency. So as a reader, you know that the rest of the paragraph will be referring to proficiency. We now proceed to the second sentence. The first aspect includes basic interpersonal skills that allow learners to communicate in social settings. This is your detailed sentence, which is further delving into the aspect of proficiency by providing support to the topic sentence. As we proceed to the third sentence, which reads, the second aspect includes cognitive academic skills, which are needed for learning in every subject of the curriculum. There is another example of a detailed sentence. At the first additional language level, it is assumed that learners do not have any knowledge of the language when they start schooling at a particular school. So students, you can see as you start, the writer first provided his main idea in his topic sentence and then went on to support the topic sentence with detailed sentence. And as lecturers, this is how we would like you to structure your paragraph. You zoom in on a specific idea, which is usually your first sentence, and thereafter you build your paragraph through the use of detailed sentences. As a university student, you would find in your assignments that you often come across questions which require of you to write an essay. To write your essay, there are a number of steps which you can follow, which is referred to as your introduction, your body, and your conclusion. So normally in an essay, we'd like to see these three parts of an essay included. In your introduction, you orientate the reader to the text. You briefly explain what the essay will be about and what you will be covering. So you highlight the main points in your introduction to prepare the reader for what to expect in your essay. And in this way, you also give focus to yourself as the writer. You then move to the body of your essay. The body of your essay addresses the main points of your essay in detail. The number of paragraphs in the body of your essay will be determined by how many points or ideas you wish to bring across. It is beneficial to in your conclusion, you refer to your introduction, you summarize your main ideas, and you provide your closing thoughts and arguments. Although we are suggesting that you structure your essay in an introduction, a body, and conclusion, what is common in all these three aspects is that whatever content you present needs to be supported by evidence which is accurately referenced. So as a postgraduate student, we as your lecturers would like to see that the work you present has been researched and accordingly referenced. In conclusion, I would like to leave you with the following question. Can writing be fun? And the answer to that is yes, yes, and yes. If you follow the examples we have given you in the presentation thus far, you will find that writing becomes manageable, and yes, indeed, it can be fun. I thank you, students, and I will now hand over to Dr. Ngidi.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Gane. Well, then, my name is Phimelo Ngidi. I am Dr. Ngidi. I'll be taking you through with referencing. Then the first primary question would be, what is referencing? Referencing is a standardized method of formatting the source you have used in your assignment or written work. Any given referencing style serves many purposes. Referencing is a standardized method of acknowledging the printed or electronic source of information and ideas used in your essay or an assignment in a way that uniquely identifies their source or the source that you have used in your particular work. The purpose of referencing in academia are as follows, just to pick the two. to substantiate your argument, to demonstrate that you have read widely and have a broader appreciation of the subject in discussion. This is significantly important because every person who comes up with a new information or rather modifies an information always appreciates that the information is acknowledged as a sign or as a signal that you are respecting the author or rather the composer, the inventor of a particular knowledge. So that is why it is very significantly important to make a referencing. Now, I've just given you 2 examples of a reference list. You can find this in a tutorial later. For an example, Anut K, Blomant, Repton, and Sport. These are the 3 authors. Then please be careful and be mindful that after the 1, 2, 3, on the 4th author, we used and in a simple way, precisely because we are referencing them at the last page, or rather at the last part of our assignment. Why? Because within the text or within the assignment or within the body of the assignment, we write it in full and say that if we were in the text, we were going to say that Arnold, Blomet, Repton, and in full words, because we were respecting the text, but it goes different, or rather in a different approach when it comes to the reference list, okay? But be careful in this example. We have mentioned the author as well as the surname, the author, the surname of the author as well as the initial, the surname, the initial, the surname and the initial. So you must follow the pattern, all right? Another example, if it's one person, and please be mindful of the commas as well. They are very important. They play a significant role. Remember, at UNISA, we use Harvard-style referencing, okay? Now, let's go to the other one, which is Baker. Baker, C 2011. You will check there's no end, there is nothing, precisely because it is only one person whom we are citing, which of course we can assume that it was a person whom was mentioned in the text, or rather in the body, all right? So it's very important. Okay, moving forward. Now, what is citation? Mostly when lecturers speak about this, you must cite, you must do citation. What is citation? Okay, now it is said, citation is the practice of referring to the work of other authors and the text of a manuscript. Such works are cited to show evidence both of the background reading that has been done and to support the content and the conclusions, all right? And then each citation requires a reference at the end of the work. This provides the full details of the source and should enable us, or rather the readers, to be able to trace what has been mentioned to be the source of the information used to back up the ideas that you as the student have indicated in your body or in your introduction. It all depends to where you are making a citation to. All right. Now, very significantly, they say referring accurately to such sources, it is a part of sound academic practice and a skill that should be mastered. It is a good practice to record the page numbers where the citation was found in order to trace the cited section. Okay. Now, this is what they say. Citation can be done to, number one, to give credit to the concept and the idea of authors or an author. Number two, to provide the reader, us, okay? Often the marker, the examiner, the audience may differ from one perspective to the other, okay? With the evidence of the scope of your reading. This is for an example. I am saying that according to Ngidi, page 14, 2017, he defines citation as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was just to give you the primary example of how this would look like. But I've got something better to show you, okay? Now, they say in-text citation. And in-text citation is the brief form of the reference that you include in the body of your work. It gives enough information to uniquely identify the source to your reference list, or rather in your reference list. The brief form usually consists of a family name of the authors, the year of the publication, and the citation will look the same regardless of, okay? But it differs, okay? From when we make a citation, it's not this. When we make citation, it's not the same when we do the reference list. In the reference list, we are listing whom we have cited in the body, while in the body, we are giving a citation like they've said, providing the name of the author and the year, to make it a point that, or rather to justify that this is not our, or rather my original idea as a student, but it is an information from Dr. Ngidi. Oh, sorry, it's from Mr. Ngidi or Dr. Ngidi, yes, from Berger, or whomever that we have cited. This is the primary example. Alberman 2002, page number 198, observes that the need to enhance critical reading ability of the learners forms the center of the world's learning crisis, okay? Now, moving forward, World Bank 2017, because learners do not know how to position themselves as critical readers. So you see the way you cite differs from one perspective to the other, especially in the form of a position. We look at the position. Where do you position your citation? Because it's very important in an academic writing. We do not throw in our citation as we feel, but we need to position them in an accurate way, all right? Now, citation placing. At the beginning of the sentence, in an introductory phase, according to John, according to Ngidi, according to Berger, according to Manike, 2013, students enjoy using UNISA referencing system. Okay, this is an example. All right. Now, at the end of the sentence, one may say, in the parent thesis, it says, one source discovered that students enjoy using the UNISA referencing style. Now, you must check the difference, okay? It's very important. At the beginning, we said according, and then it was placed there. And then at the end, we also did the very same thing, okay? Now, sometimes citation may need to come in the middle of the sentence. For an example, one source claimed that UNISA referencing style was fun. All right, that was according to Johnson, 2013, while other sources disagree with that statement. So you see, it's very important to position, or rather to place the citation in an accurate place or a position in the sentence. Moving forward, now, what is plagiarism? Because why this will necessitate why we have to do citation and have the reference list, okay? Plagiarism or violation of the copyright law is passing off the work of others as your own, all right? And a person found guilty of such transgression can be legally prosecuted, okay? This first slides, or rather first point, gives the essentiality or the importance of doing that, of citing as well as the reference list, because you can be legally prosecuted, okay? And then in addition, it is also constitute academic theft and is a grave matter. It's a grave matter that will have serious consequences in the assessment of the assignment or any work given. Plagiarism or violation of copyright law does not only occur in the postgraduate level of work, but also in the undergraduate assignment or other given academic work. So it is very important to avoid such things by ensuring that you cite and provide the reference list to have a particular and a profound work which is well justified and well justified, to ensure that no ideas are going all over the place, or rather are scattered, but they're all in one place and just. Thank you very much. Siyabonga, Rialeboga, baya danki.